Hello friends, welcome back to my channel. Today we are going to talk about Laravel to run as a Docker container. So why I'm doing this tutorial is because there has been a few requests from my friends to create this tutorial. So Laravel is a free open source PHP web framework, and this is used for development of web application. So as part of this tutorial, we are going to create a Laravel Docker container, and the backend will be used as a MariaDB database. So we will see how we can access the web page after creating our Docker container, and also we will see how we can create a persistent storage for Laravel in the Docker, and also we will see some of the few commands, artisan command, to make some changes in the Laravel. So before I proceed, I want to thank all of you to providing your support, and I would also request you to subscribe to this channel, like the video, share and comment. So I'm going to start this on a Docker machine, which I have used it for my previous tutorial. So if you don't know how to set up Docker, please check my video description where I link the Docker tutorial, or you can check my channel. Okay. So this machine I have, it's a CentOS machine in which I already have a Docker installed. Okay, so if I check Docker version, you can see Docker 19.03.11 is installed. Okay, so and if I see Docker PS, I don't have any Docker containers running. So I will jump directly to create the containers for MariaDB first, because we need to have a backend database for running the Laravel. So let's start creating the container for MariaDB. So the command would be docker run and -d to run it in detached mode. And I'm going to name the container as MariaDB. And this time I'm going to use some environment variables. So I'm going to just make these environment variable to set the password for the database and also some settings. So I will explain you on the after pasting the commands. Okay, so as I said, I have used a few environmental variables. So one is like allow empty password, so I'm going to give an option that some user account can have empty password. So the other one is I'm going to use an environmental variable like MariaDB underscore user. So here I'm going to create a user called my user, and I'm also going to create a database called my database, my underscore database, and also I'm going to set a password for this my user, which is called my underscore password. Okay, so these are the few environmental variables I have used it. And the next step is we have to map the image for MariaDB. So I'm going to call directly the docker.io. Bitnami is the vendor, and the MariaDB for Debian 10. Okay, so this will be the whole command to create a Docker container. So I think there is a small mistake here. So it should be name, okay, because I missed the E. Okay, so just make sure that the name is you remember, or we need to give this name in when we are creating the Laravel. So because the Laravel container has to link to this DB to run properly. Okay. So since the image is not available locally, it is downloading the image, or it's pulling the image first to create the container. So we have to wait for this to be complete. So it may take some time depending upon the network. So my network is a little bit slow today. So I will skip this some of this download section, and we'll go once it's completed. So we have to wait for this download to be completed. So as I said, depending upon the network speed, it may take some time to complete. So we are almost completed download. So now we have to extract and the container to be up. Okay, great. So we have the container created for MariaDB. So let me clear out the screen. And if I run docker ps, you should be able to see the container running for MariaDB, right? So we have the database running. So now we have to create the Laravel container. So let me create the container. So it's going to be docker run and -d, and let me name the container as Laravel. And we need to give the port where we'll be accessing the container. So I'm going to use 3000. Okay, and let me link the database into it. So it's going to be MariaDB. So this is the name we have given for the database container. And here as well, I'm going to use some of environmental variables. So the first one is going to be the DB host, which will be MariaDB. So this is the host name. So again, if you, depending upon what name you have given, you have to be giving the right name here. And I'm going to give a few other environmental variables. So this is called the DB user, which is going to access this container. So it's going to be my_user, and the DB database is going to be my_database, and the DB password is my password. So all these details we have created when we created the MariaDB container. Okay, so if you are given some other information, please give the as according to that. And the next step is to access the image for Laravel. So again, I'm going to use the docker.io and the bitdummy and Laravel 7. Okay, so this will be the whole command. So don't worry, I have given all these commands in the video description, so you can just copy and paste it from there. So let me run the container. So we will wait for the Laravel container to be created. So the step is it has to pull the image first. So again, I have to wait for the image to be downloaded and the container to be created. So we'll wait for that. So we'll wait for this download to be completed. So if you've seen my previous tutorials, you would have seen like we have even created WordPress on Docker container. We also had Drupal, and now we are also doing Laravel. So you can check, my previous tutorial as well if you are interested for Drupal or WordPress. So we are almost complete. So it's extracting the downloaded files. Okay. So you can see the container is created. Okay, let me clear out the screen. Now if I run docker ps, you can see there are two containers running, right? One is for Laravel and one is for MariaDB. So we can access the Laravel on the port 3000. So let's go back to our browser. So before that, you can check what is the IP address of this machine. So it is going to be 192.168.145.130. If I go to the browser and go to the IP address and port 3000, let's see what we get. So now you see we are able to access the web page which says Laravel, right? And it gives some information like docs, Laracast, news, blog. So this is the default Laravel page. Okay, so that means our Laravel website is working fine. So let me clear out the screen. So there are two containers, right? So from where we are getting this page, so let's check that. So let me connect to the container of Laravel. So I'm going to use docker exec it and the container name and the bin/bash. Okay, there is a typo. It's not bib, it's bin/bash. Okay. Okay, so I think we have to use only bash, okay, because it's not in the bin bash here. So if you run Laravel bash, we are connected now to the container. Now if you see, if I press ls, so we are already in the app. So if I check the location, it's the /app. So default we go into that location where the default files of Laravel is there, right? So as I say, like you can see the different files like config package.json, composer.json, artisan, public routes, storage. So these are all the files for the Laravel website. So now if you go to app, sorry, you can see it have multiple content like console, exception, HTTP. So let's go to HTTP. So you can see here we have the controller, kernels, middleware. So you'll have the most of the controllers saved here. Okay. Now if you see like Artisan is the word we'll be using a lot of commands for Laravel. So you can see there is something called Artisan which give you a list of commands which you can use to configure your Laravel. Okay. Now if you go to resources and go to views, there is a file called welcome.plate. So let me read that. Now if you see, this is the home page which we are getting in the Laravel. So if you see the body, we can see it says the links, right? Laravel.com is called as docs, news, blog. So this is the thing content which we are getting actually when we are running this home page. See Laravel, and this content is coming from this page. Okay, so if you want to edit something here, you can edit it. But that's not we are going to do at this point. So before I proceed, let me exit from the container. Okay, okay, and now let me go back to the container. So we have two containers. Now if you see all these files are inside this container. So if this container is having some issues, all those files are corrupted. So how we can do is we can map the /app from the container to your local host or local CentOS machine, so that you can do it through a persistent volume. So let me show you how we can do that. So first I will delete the Laravel container alone, because DB I will keep it as it is. So when we recreate the Laravel container, we can use the DB again. So let me remove the container. Okay, I'm going to force it because it's okay. So the other option is you can stop the container and then you can delete it. Okay, so since I don't want to stop it, I just forced it. So now let's create the Laravel container again. So there is only small change. We are going to use -v parameter as a volume mapping, and we are going to map that to our Docker volume. Okay. So I've just copied and pasted the command to create, and the container is also created, you can see. So the command is almost completely same. Just the same command, but only difference is we are using -v for the volume mapping. So I'm going to create a named volume Laravel _app, and it's going to be mapped to the container/app. Okay. So if I go to Docker volume ls, you can see there is a folder called Laravel _app. Okay, so let me run the Docker ps. Again, we have two containers running, and if I refresh the page, still the page is there. Okay, but this time it's a different container. Okay, but we have recreated in the same name and same port number, so we are able to access it. But to access the files now, you don't have to get inside the container now. How you can access this? Let's go to /var/lib/docker/volumes, and it should be Laravel _app and _data. Okay, now if you see inside this location from your host, you can access all these files from here, right? Now let me go to cd/resources. I'm sorry, going to be resources and views. Okay, and let me edit this file. Okay, I'm going to edit this. I'm going to change the title. Okay, I'm going to add something like tutorial from the tips for you. Okay, and I'm going to save this. Now let me go back to the page. Now if you see, I am able to see that change on the Laravel web page, right? So I have changed the content on the resource view folder. So and we are able to see that getting reflected on your web page, right? So the Laravel, the welcome page alone, we are getting changed here. Okay. Now let me show you some commands which you can use. So artisan command is what we can use to make a lot of changes in the Laravel and configuration. So I'm not going to talk about the Laravel tutorial here because I'm also not an expert on that perspective. I'm only going to show you some of the command how you can access those using a Docker a container of Laravel. Okay. So in order to list the artisan command, what you can do is you can go to Docker exec and IT. I'm not going to log into the container. What I'm going to do is I'm going to call the Laravel container. Okay, and I'm going to call this command php artisan list. Now if you see, it has listed all the command for artisan. Okay, so you can see the usage, the options, argument, and what are the options we have. We have edge for help, quiet version, right? And we have other commands like list we have already used. Okay, we have migrate, optimize, serve is what you can use it to bring up your Laravel when you are running in a normal way. Okay, and there are other commands over here like make, right? So there are a lot of commands which you can use. So you can go through a Laravel tutorial how to make use of this. Okay, okay, let me clear out this screen. And let me also show you, like I'm running this command Laravel node-v. So node is the node.js. So if you see, actually Laravel is running on the node version 12.18. And the similar way you can also check the npm version. Okay, so it's 6. So actually this container is also having node and npm. And let me also show how we can install some of the components. So if you this command, like using the composer require, it's a UI which we can install, like the dev hyphen dev which we can use. So let me run this and see what it happens. Okay. Now we can see the composer is trying to update the dependencies, right? So let's wait for that to be done. Okay. It looks to be completed, so let me clear out the screen. Okay. It's we have installed the dev. I think it should be somewhere coming someplace. Okay, so I don't know where it is. Okay, let me also try to enable the authentication in the UI. Okay, so I'm going to use this command. Okay, so authentication scaffolding generated. So let me go and refresh this page. Now you see, we can see the login and register is enabled. So previously these were not available in this web page, right? So it will not do much because it just go to the screen, but we don't have actions on what has to be done. But if you see, just with the simple command, it has created the login and register options, right? So you can understand more about what all these commands, artisan commands available in Laravel. So by using that, you can simply modify your web page, and you can add more content into it. So that's all for this tutorial. So if you have not seen the tutorial on WordPress and Drupal, I would suggest you to go and check that. And I hope you are happy the way we did it for this tutorial, and it's informative for you, so you can make use of this to run your Laravel web page. Okay, so I would request you to subscribe to my channel, like the video, share, and comment. So the next tutorial we will see Laravel on our Docker using a Docker Compose file, so we can see how we can do that. Okay.